Brendan Banfield sentenced to life for killing wife.
This is a guy that claims he was trying to save his wife from being murdered, and yet he doesn't even mention that he's heartbroken, that she's dead, that he misses her. Don't you think somebody who was wrongfully convicted of their own wife's murder would show a little bit of emotion in the courtroom today? Take a listen to what he said just a couple of hours ago.
I was found guilty of a crime that I did not commit. It is actually impossible to have committed the crime, as the prosecution, their experts, and their witnesses have presented. The prosecution and their witnesses' statements do not match the evidence. My rights to defend my family has been taken away, to defend my home and myself.
So Virginia abolished the death penalty in 2021. Too soon. And ironically, 2021 is the same time that Jezebel of an au pair came in to live with the family. Why would we expect any words of remorse and or sorrow to come out of this man's mouth, this bastard? Why not double down, right? You risked it all already a few times now. Clearly you're a gambling man. You rolled the dice with that affair. You rolled the dice with a murder plot straight out of a Tarantino movie. The only thing that could go wrong is life with no parole. Otherwise, I know the people of Virginia would have hooked you up to a car battery behind the courthouse as soon as the judge banged the gavel. Brendan Banfield, a Virginia man convicted of killing his wife and a stranger in a plot with an au pair, was sentenced Friday to life in prison without parole. Oh, you're gonna rot, buddy. And that little smut bunny that walked you down this path to life without parole, she's gonna get out soon, and she won't even write you a letter. She won't even think about you. The level of cruelty, calculation, and inhumanity in this case reflects something far deeper than anger or impulse. It reflects evil, which is why I carry no burden and find no hesitation in sentencing you to life. CNN reported Judge Penny S. Karate said Banfield, 40, and au pair Juliana Perez Magal Hayes, 26, were having an affair. Banfield testified that she made the initial move. She pushed up on him when his wife was out of town. There's no way to verify that. In fact, there's no way to verify that it wasn't his idea initially to bring another woman into the household, which is my theory, but I can't confirm that at all. They lured a stranger, Joseph Ryan, to participate in a rape fantasy in the couple's home. If you're Joseph Ryan, you must be thinking how rare it is to finally get a chance to fulfill someone's fantasy of being raped. But little do you know how rare it is even more to be at the center of a murder plot where they're going to kill you and the wife and then blame you for it. And when he arrived and startled Christine Banfield, 37, Brendan Banfield shot him and then stabbed his wife to death.
Convicted murderer Brendan Banfield will spend the rest of his life behind bars with no chance of ever getting out.
Then you got Shorty out of Brazil. She rode this whole situation until the wheels fell off and then told, "You've seen City of God, U.S. denomination. Our currency is worth 5 times as much as those seashells and chicken bones they're spending over there in Brazil. Sure, count me in. You want to sleep with me and maybe replace me with your wife? This just keeps getting better and better. I'll spin the wheel, Pat. Oh, you want to get rid of your wife like esposa morta?" And that was her chance to bring things back down to reality. But of course, she played along because she thought that would be beneficial to her. So for her to only get 10 years, she could have stopped this at any time before it got out of hand. But of course she wasn't, because she thought she could get a better life out of it. Perez Magal Hayes from Brazil helped him with the plot and watched the killings happen. Cold-blooded, man. She accepted a plea deal in 2024 to involuntary manslaughter for her testimony against Brendan Banfield. While the deal was 4 times served, as Karate sentenced her to 10 years, the maximum. There's no way she should get only 10 years when she helped them plot this, and she was the only person at the end of it all that could have possibly stopped this from happening, that could have stood up and said something like, she's just as responsible. Your actions were deliberate, self-serving, and demonstrated a profound disregard for human life, as Karate said. So let's get straight. You do not deserve anything other than incarceration frustration and a life of reflection on what you have done to the victim and his family may it weigh heavily on your soul. Brendan Banfield maintained his innocence throughout the trial. Yeah, tell it to your new prison hubs. He testified that he was only protecting his wife, who was being stabbed by Ryan. You called this man to come in and rape your wife. Even if this was not part of the plan, he was still gonna rape your wife because he would have thought that was her fantasy, was for it to go down that way. There's no protection in that. He was also given 2 consecutive prison sentences for firearms offense and child endangerment because the couple's 4-year-old daughter was in the basement at the time. Damn. Perez Magalhaes testified that Brandon Banfield wanted to be with her, but he didn't want to pay for a divorce or share custody of their daughter. See, this is how you know a goofy, by how he moves. He's not strong enough to turn down the side action. Then when he's getting the side action, he can't control his feelings, can't keep a lid on it. As soon as he starts seeing a little side action, the very first thing he does, he's ready to kill his wife and run off with the side piece. This is why people shouldn't always get what they want. Honestly, had a beautiful wife, beautiful family. What more do you want? What more do you want?
Joe, I'm a bit floored by what I just witnessed inside of this courthouse. Brendan Banfield, a former IRS agent who was convicted of the most serious crime in the Commonwealth of Virginia, aggravated murder. In fact, he was convicted of 2 counts of aggravated murder, stood up in front of this courtroom today, in front of the victim's family and friends, and remained defiant, claiming that even after all of the evidence against him, multiple convictions, he told the court again today that the criminal justice system did him wrong, that he didn't commit these crimes, and that he's an innocent man. Look, he addressed the court for about 12 minutes today, and it took about 10 minutes before he even mentioned his wife in any substantive matter.
Danielle, Christine Banfield's sister, gave a victim impact statement. He could have divorced and moved on. Yes, he could have, but divorce would have required relinquishing control, and control was always the priority. His actions were not driven by love, but a desire for power, deception, and a complete disregard for the lives he destroyed. Joseph Ryan's mother, Deirdre Fisher, spoke in the court virtually for medical reasons. NBC News reported Brendan will remain known as an abusive father, the brutal murderer of his dedicated and compassionate, beautiful wife, and a narcissistic killer of an innocent man, she said.
Right, so his defense attorney yesterday claimed that the prosecutors made 3 errors at his trial. This was maybe one of the shortest motion hearings that I've ever witnessed. The prosecution didn't even make any oral argument against it, and the judge shot it down in about 18 minutes.
Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. Do you think Perez Magalhaes should have gotten more time compared to her actual role in this murder?